Knuckle up. Sometimes, however, you can practice all the spiritual shit you want, but when it comes down to it, you have to take action. There's only so much of her harassment, lies, and manipulation I could take. It was time to fight back. She thought I was a naive, pushover yoga teacher. Little did she know that she would get to feel the fire from my soul fire. I fought back quietly, legally, and smartly. I filed a police report, kept a journal of everything she did to me, hired legal counsel for free, and filed a temporary restraining order. I won, which infuriated her even more. The battle continued. She was insane enough to try to even evict me during the C lockdown. Trust me, I didn't want to live with her either, but I wasn't going to be tossed out on the street. I looked every day for a new home. I continued with the free legal counsel I had and also did my own research. She was clueless that I was such a good researcher and was flabbergasted when I served her with a big fat file of all the mandates and laws she had broken and all the fines she would be responsible for. The court case dragged on for 6 months, even after I had finally moved out. The employees at the courthouse knew me by my name. I was there so often. At the last court appearance, the third judge on the case asked me what I wanted to do. Apparently, he was handing over the power to me instead of doing his own job. I just wanted justice. It wasn't about the money. I would have been happy if she was fined $100. It was about being responsible for her actions for the last 6 months. Not just how she mistreated her tenant and broke the laws, but lying in court accusing me of owing her money and stealing furniture. It was laughable. Because I'd actually improved that place and left it better than when I arrived. Standing in front of the judge was a pivotal moment for me. I looked over at her and actually felt sorry for her. I decided to drop the case and the charges. I was done with the energy of conflict. I just wanted her out of my energy field. Even though I was in the right, I decided to have mercy on her. I knew it was the best thing for me to do for myself. Yet I still couldn't help but feeling deflated. Trust in God. Later that night, I received a phone call from a woman from an institution in Hawaii that helps people with rent. I had forgotten that I had applied a few months prior, so I was surprised to receive her phone call. She told me she could get me 2 months' rent immediately. She just needed one more document from me. I asked her why she was working at 8 p.m. at night. She replied, "People need help." What aloha spirit. I was in tears. That day in court had taken a toll on my soul, and this was such a blessing to receive. Was it a coincidence that the dollar amount of the financial assistance I received was the same dollar amount I sued my old landlord for? I told her I would call her right back with the information. I asked the woman's name, and she replied, "My name is Faith." Need I say more? God and the universe know you personally. They have your back. They see your struggles. They know your heart, and they will never let you down. When you're in pono, the Hawaiian word for right action, and you act kind and generous from your heart, it returns to you multiplied. My faith in humanity was restored 100-fold that night, and the money abundance showed up immediately. Miracles abound. The chair 2020, which equals the number 4. A lot of my followers think I moved to Hawaii and I am living the dream, life in paradise without a worry in the world. That's true to a degree, but as you can see from my stories, it wasn't all rainbows and butterflies. Even with all the divine guidance I was receiving, I still had bumps in the road. Waking up is a process and it takes time. The progress is that I never sank down to the depths of despair like I did in the past and rebounded super quick from obstacles. Spirit gives me a lot of visualizations that really help me to learn more quickly. For example, they showed me a chair with the 4 legs grounded into Mother Earth. Each chair leg represented an old pattern that I needed to examine, and transmute and let go of. I did not have all the legs secured in the ground yet. I was still holding on to some old shreds and patterns. The land will accept me and support me fully when I release and integrate these perceived imbalances and vibrate at a higher frequency. This is my 2020 goal. Healthy boundaries. I meditated and contemplated on this guidance. I had to get the other legs in the ground to be stable and fully rooted. At least I was making progress. I had overcome my abandonment issues. Now I had to figure out what old patterns and habits were no longer serving me and my highest good. I meditated, contemplated, and journaled. What we are experiencing in the outer world is always a reflection of our beliefs. No matter how much we want to blame others, I remind myself, it begins within. I knew I was reverting back to old habits and patterns. I had to resolve this once and for all. Even though you can receive good advice and guidance doesn't mean it will be absorbed. It's good to remember when we are the ones giving guidance as well. Just because someone agrees with you doesn't mean they will take action and make the necessary change to create a new reality. Change is a process and it takes time. For the first time, I spoke up about needing alone time with my HB. I learned how much alone time was necessary for me to meditate, reflect, write, grow, nurture, and water my spiritual garden. I needed sacred solitude like I needed to breathe. Without alone time, I was cranky and unbalanced, which is what was happening in the beginning of our relationship. In all of my past relationships, I lost myself in the relationship, but with HB, I found healthy boundaries for myself, and that encouraged him to have his own as well. I'll never forget the day he thanked me for creating boundaries. Again, it's much easier to think about it in my head versus saying it out loud to him. I had just given him a talk about needing my space to create the video portal I was working on, and that it would take a couple of months and it would be my priority. He told me that witnessing me following my dreams and sticking to them gave him the desire to go back to the land and work on his dreams. That made me feel good. However, maintaining harmony in our relationship was still a challenge.